Hello dear traders and welcome to another update on the market. For today I decided to cover New Zealand dollar versus US dollar. I will speak about gold market, crude oil and Bitcoin versus US dollar. I will start with the New Zealand dollar versus US dollar first. So basically what I found, I will start from a 4-hour time frame, and we had basically, from my opinion, we had accumulation last week. We had impulsive move upside, and then this looks like an ABC formation. So based on this, I expect at least an equal swing like this one. So if I add this swing, this distance from low to high, and project here, so projection is that price can, the minimum can go to 0.6445. That's a 100% projection of this initial swing. At least I expect the price to retest highs at 0.6360 and try to revisit 0.6390. And there is even chance that there's a bigger upside power that market can retest 0.6570. So my advice, basically based on the current structure and the current regime, is to watch for buying opportunities on intraday dips on the New Zealand dollar versus US dollar with the upside objectives on the upside references that I mentioned. So speaking of the gold market is still in a heavy sideways regime, and we can see basically on the weekly time frame there is an inside wick. So we have a very balanced week last week, very narrow range last week. So is this week a potential breakout week for the gold? We'll see. For now I don't see that, so I will say watch for the breakout, because gold is in a heavy consolidation. So at the minimum, I would like the price to go above 1848 in order to confirm potential retest of 1876. Ideally, if we can break this 1878, then we can open the door for higher prices and, you know, maybe eventual test of a 1920. From other side, if we clear the low at 1804, we can there's option for the gold to revisit 7087, eventually 7080, or cluster the lows around 7055. So again, inside week, last week for the gold, and which is basically telling me there is a big short midterm sideways regime and potential for the breakout in the next period. Speaking of the crude oil, there is already breakout happening here. So we had this contraction, and this contraction didn't provide a continuation pattern to the downside. Actually, we had a breakout to the upside. If we go to the weekly, last week close was pretty weak. Last week close, the bar closed in the middle, and we left the tail last week, actually at the 20 rising moving average, 20-week rising moving average. So that's a not particularly strong sign for some bigger downside movement this week. Just watching the close and where we stopped and rejected, that's by itself some positive sign, and sign that buyers kicked in last week. Now we can also see that contraction in multi-time frames, breakout of inside day on the Friday on crude oil, and now it's all about, can we have a follow through to that upside breakout. For now I see absolutely constructive chart. There is nothing here to suggest there's any big reversal or something. So from my perspective, I can see crude oil still higher, and potential test of 111 can be in the play. So watch for buying opportunities on intraday dips on the crude oil. And speaking of the Bitcoin versus US dollar, let me just show you here. You can basically see that last week was a very narrow week, inside week, very narrow week. So do we clear this high and eventually try to retake 25,000 mark, or we clear the low at 17,000, maybe try to go towards 10,000 mark? It's up. We need to see that. I don't see any spectacular structure that I can relate, that I can say that there is any spectacular structure building here. But again, if you watch the daily, you know, we have this 3-day balance. So a breakout of the 21,900 can basically potentially lead us towards the 23,000. Breakout of the low of 20,600 can potentially lead the price towards the 19,870. Again, balanced regime on the Bitcoin, so watching for the breakout under this condition will be, I think, from my perspective, proper strategy. That'll be all for this update. I hope that you did enjoy, and as always, trade safe and speak to you tomorrow morning.